Good afternoon, I'm Erika Kristensen, and this is Newsfeed. Local share prices pull back as investors lock in gains after a 4-day winning streak. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index gave up 70 points, or nearly 1%, to drag the benchmark index below the 7,400 level. Value turnover eased to 8 billion pesos. Decliners had a slight edge against advancers, 99 to 97. Financials lost 2% to become the biggest drag, with BDO and BPI suffering hefty losses. Except for the mining and oil counters' 2.83% gain, all the other indices finished in the red.
Now that liquidity has now poured in, now we're seeing fund flows finally also come back to the Philippines.
And that's what we need. That's what we really need.
That's what you were talking about, catch up. But if you look at the fund flows today, $2.5 billion went into Indonesia. Philippines is just $200 million the last 8 weeks. So if you think at it from that perspective, it's actually still very, very small. But you've seen the impact, and that's the reason why markets, just on absence of selling, rallied.
The bill renewing the franchise of power distributor Meralco for another 25 years has been approved by the House of Representatives on second reading. Prior to the approval, lawmakers raised questions to ensure the continuity and reliability of Meralco's power supply to consumers within the franchise area. Metalco's current franchise expires in 2028. Former top crypto executive Caroline Ellison has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for her role in her ex-boyfriend Sam Bankman-Fried's $8 billion crypto fraud. Ellison could have faced a tougher sentence, but the judge and prosecutors acknowledged her role as star witness in the case. This led to the conviction of Bankman-Fried in one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. Ellison was CEO of Alameda Research, a crypto trading company with close ties to fallen crypto exchange FTX. Joe Biden confronts a global turmoil head-on in his final speech as President of the United States before the UN General Assembly in New York. But even from the horrors of war, Biden says there's always a way moving forward. Eugene Adalia tells us more.
Today is the 4th time I've had the great honor of speaking to this assembly as President of the United States. It'll be my last.
As the American leader stood before the UN General Assembly, wars rage in the Middle East, with Israel battling Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
The world must not flinch from the horrors of October 7th. Any country would have the right and responsibility to ensure that such an attack can never happen again.
And Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Full-scale war is not in anyone's interest. Even if the situation has escalated, a diplomatic solution is still possible.
A diplomatic solution, Biden says, that world leaders should come up with sooner rather than later.
Gaza is not the only conflict that deserves our outrage. In Sudan, a bloody civil war unleashed one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. 8 million on the brink of famine. Hundreds of thousands already there. Atrocities in Darfur and elsewhere.
With just 4 months left, Biden's presidency has also been dominated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022.
The good news is Putin's war has failed at his core aim. He set out to destroy Ukraine, but Ukraine is still free. He set out to weaken NATO, but NATO is bigger, stronger, more united than ever before, with 2 new members, Finland and Sweden. But we cannot let up.
But in a speech dominated by chaos and conflict, Biden ends on a hopeful note.
My fellow leaders, there is nothing that's beyond our capacity if we work together. Let's work together. God bless you all, and may God protect all those who seek peace. Thank you.
Eugene Adalia, BNC.
Meanwhile, as the race for the White House enters its final weeks, U.S. President Biden reflects on the tough decision he had to make, dropping his re-election bid. Biden used his final UN General Assembly speech to frame his decision as a lesson to world leaders. He says, serving the people is more important than staying in power.
Even as we navigate so much change, one thing must not change. We must never forget who we're here to represent. We, the people. This summer, I faced a decision whether to seek a second term as president. It was a difficult decision. Being president has been the honor of my life. There's so much more I want to get done. As much as I love the job, I love my country more. I decided after 50 years of public service, it's time for a new generation of leadership to take my nation forward. My fellow leaders, let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power. It's your people. It's your people that matter the most.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump briefed by U.S. intelligence officials on alleged threats from Iran to assassinate him. Trump said so far the plots weren't successful, but Iran will try again. He also thanked Congress for approving more funds for the Secret Service in the wake of 2 attempts to assassinate him. Trump also saying an attack on a former U.S. president is a death wish for the attacker. On the lighter side of the news, over 300 new geoglyphs have been discovered in the Peruvian desert of Nazca with the help of AI. Japanese researchers were behind this latest find, which almost doubles the total known of these mysterious lines that are more than 2,000 years old. Recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, the famous Nazca lines take the form of geometric figures and animals, which can only be appreciated from the sky. The real meaning of these geoglyphs remains a mystery, but some experts consider them to be an astronomical observatory, others a calendar. The inhabitants of the Nazca civilization occupy the area from 200 to 700 AD. Now, who says skydiving and surfing don't mix? Chile's Sebastian Alvarez combined 2 of his favorite hobbies to perform the world's first skydive to surf jump in Abu Dhabi. He did the stunt in December last year, but Red Bull released the footage on Tuesday, ahead of the Abu Dhabi Longboard Classic. The surfing competition takes place on September 27 to 29.
I just achieved something that nobody have ever done before. I think I achieved a dream that I used to have long ago, that I also thought it was impossible to make it happen, but then one thing took me to another one, and we achieved a world first thing, world first project, so yeah, pretty stoked.
And before we go, here's a look at today's market winners and losers. And those are the news this hour. I am Erika Kristensen. Stay tuned to BNC on Free TV Channel 31, Channel 24 on Signal, and on our website, bnc.ph. Thanks for watching.